Welcome to the Gold Plus Roundup, the monthly show where we review every Games with Gold and PlayStation Plus game that you got for free if you are a subscriber. We'll tell you what's worth your time and tell you what's worth a skip. Here we go. Qube 2 is much better than the original. The original we did get with Games with Gold quite a while ago. This game's a sci-fi puzzle game, much like Portal, but without the wit and more about choices and what they mean. And I can't really go into it unless you actually play the game. You can talk to me about the ending and what ending you got. There are multiple endings in this game. It's a puzzle game, and for a puzzle game, it does have quite a bit of depth. Unfortunately, the learning curve is a bit steep. Once they show you the basics, it does get difficult rather quick, or get intricate rather quick, so it may frustrate some people. But if you are into puzzle games, you will really like it. I'm not saying it's as good as The Witness, but it's pretty darn good. Dragon Age 2 may be one of the least popular of the Dragon Age series, but it's very good in comparison to a lot of others, at least. This is the first game where they actually have your character voiced. The other games, you'd make a dialogue choice and it wouldn't be voiced, so it's kind of nice. They did say that this was going to be more action. I didn't feel like it was more action. I felt like it was still very much BioWare, very much about choosing your actions and pausing and choosing your companion's actions as well, which I think lends to the strategy in taking down your enemies in different ways and really getting to utilize your companion's gifts as opposed to the CPU just doing it for you. I really enjoyed it. I thought the story was pretty good, but it does kind of cliffhang on it. It should have been, I don't know. I feel like the pacing was a little weird on that, but all in all, I really enjoyed it. Never Alone is one of the most inventive games I've played in quite a while. I could go on and on about the story, I could go on and on about the folklore or the inventive art involved in this game, but it's something that really should be experienced. Everything from the voice acting to the backdrops, just everything about this game is wonderful, and it takes you on a journey. It's a great marriage of storytelling and gameplay, and it's possibly my pick for the month. Mercenaries Playground of Destruction is like Grand Theft Auto meets North Korea with a little bit of Metal Gear thrown in. It is more linear than a Grand Theft Auto, but the open world destruction does remind me of Just Cause, but not quite that over the top. Still, it's very interesting that this game came out and we weren't threatened, and the game developers weren't threatened that I can find, by North Korea, because the game does take place in North Korea and involve you as a private mercenary taking down so much of their government. If any of that sounded interesting to you, I would totally pick this up and try it out. Just understand that it's a little dated. Iconoclasts is a Metroidvania game with an emphasis on puzzles and exploration rather than the combat of a Metroid or Castlevania. It has a large cast of bizarre, memorable characters. You actually play as Robin, going against the evil religious group in charge of society known as the One Concern. There's lots of variety in the puzzles because of the versatility of your wrench in this game. Boss fights usually have a puzzle element with less emphasis on quick reactions or player skill. The quasi 16-bit graphics here do get a little bright and colorful, which kind of reminded me of Sonic the Hedgehog or something from the Sega days as opposed to the SNES. I'd recommend this for anyone who likes Metroidvania and puzzle games. If you're not interested in the puzzles and you want fighting, probably look elsewhere. Papers, Please is a fantastic emotional story that takes place in a communist country where you work as a border agent. You try to verify people's legal right to enter and process as many of those people as quickly as possible. The gameplay really boils down to a series of decisions, and originally designed for the mouse and keyboard, so the controls get a little frustrating on console. It's a short overall game, but I'd highly recommend you go through it. It's only a couple hours, and it's an amazing experience. Steredenn is a shoot-'em-up in the vein of an old NES or SNES side-scrolling shoot-'em-up game, combined with a roguelike structure. If you die, you start over in a random level with random bosses and everything else. You don't collect experience points or money or anything like that. You just have to wish for a better wish for better equipment, wish for better scenarios, and hopefully you memorized those. I found this very frustrating from a modern standpoint. This would have been fine back in the day, but now it's frustrating in ways it didn't need to be frustrating. If you like roguelike games and shoot 'em ups, you'll really enjoy this, but just understand, it is all random. Steinsgate is a visual graphic novel that actually inspired an anime, neither of which I knew about before this. You play as some mad scientist who travels through time via a microwave and is being chased by the organization to stop you from doing the things that you do. It is non-linear in regards to the story. It does get a little confusing. It's definitely something you have to really sink a lot of time to get the whole feel and the story and everything like that. Since it's a visual novel, you're not really dealing with gameplay, you're dealing with more with choices. The non-linear time travel involved, like I said, is really what it's all about, and your choices and what actually happens in that case. May not be my cup of tea in regards to gameplay, but it was really interesting to play through something like this because I really hadn't played a lot of visual novels. It was interesting, but like I said, unless you're sinking a good amount of time into this, you're not going to get a lot out of it. Soma is my pick of the month if you enjoy being on the edge of your seat in the closest thing that you'll get to a VR experience out of a non-VR experience. It's a sci-fi thriller suspense quasi-horror game with some puzzles involved. I say some puzzles because that's really what your gameplay boils down to, is figuring out how to get things to work, and it's not really puzzle-y, it's more of logic. The puzzles aren't that difficult, more of, I need power over here, how do I turn on power? It wasn't difficult, but it did get a little frustrating in some parts where I was trying to figure out exactly what to do while being chased by some cybernetic things. There's a lot of mystery involved in this game, considering you are essentially a person going in to get checked for a brain injury, and you're still recovering from that, and you're having problems because of that. Memory loss and what have you. They don't really go into a lot of detail, and then you just wake up in this crazy scenario. But if you enjoy suspense games, if you enjoy horror, you really need to play this game. I really enjoyed it. It was a breakout hit in my opinion of the month. I would say it's my pick if you do like those. If you don't, go with Never Alone. OnRush is a racing game for people who don't like being in first. It's all about like capture the flag kind of scenarios and hitting other cars with your car, getting points for jumps and getting points for hitting cars with your car and trying not to blow up. I found this game to be incredibly crazy fast, but also very frustrating to understand how you should tackle certain scenarios and how to actually win and do better, because you're not trying to be fast, you're not trying to pass people, you're trying to damage them, but it also damages you, and obviously the environmental stuff can cause a problem. It's a mix of a lot of things. I thought the execution was okay, but it's just, I don't know who this game is for. It's not about tricks, except to get points. It's not about destroying other cars, like Twisted Metal. It's not about winning. It's just all those things together, and I found that to be a really weird mix. It's not bad, it's just there. That's all for the Gold Plus Roundup this month. All the games reviewed, and hope you enjoyed them. I hope that you got something out of them if you got to play them. Let us know in the comments what your pick of the month was, and do you disagree with any of our views on these properties? Do you think Soma was the best? Did you like OnRush better than I did? Let me know in the comments. We'll see you later.
Thanks for watching This Week in Our Collective Heads. Subscribe over here and click the bell, and that way you'll know about any new videos that we put up, because we put up a lot of gameplay, a lot of stories from games and stuff like that, and gameplay is down here.
Yeah, and you got more editorials and news stuff down here. Check it out.